Hey, how you guys doing out there today? This is Stefan Jimenez from the Roto Beast team, and I'm here to present you our NFL Week 13 picks. If you're new to our channel, please make sure and click the subscribe button below, and please make sure and click the like button for our video. We greatly appreciate it. And if you want to play the actual lineup, so we're playing every single day. Feel free to come visit our website here at www.rotobeast.net. We have everything for you here. We got a 14 game slate. It's a little bit bigger than it's been the past couple weeks, as there's been a lot of teams on buys, etc. So I'm gonna jump into the top offensives first that I'm gonna be looking at. I got the Patriots going into Buffalo. They have the highest implied total of 29 projected points. So they're gonna be the top offense. Then we got the Chargers going against the Browns. They have the second highest implied total of 28 points. We got the Rams going into Arizona to face the Cardinals. They have the third highest implied total of 26 points. You got the Eagles going into Seattle. They have the fourth highest implied total of 25.8 points. We got the Saints versus Carolina. They have 25.7 implied total, which is the fifth highest. And then we got the Raiders going into the New York to face the Giants, who pretty much have thrown in the towel. They have a very high implied total at 25 points as well. So those are the top teams I'm really going to be targeting. We'll start at the quarterback position. I mean, Tom Brady, his team has the highest implied total on the slate, so you obviously got to look at him. Thing about him is he's the highest priced quarterback out there. So he gives you a really high floor, but are you gonna have the money to really pay up for him? That's the question. If you have the money to pay up for him, just pay up for him. He's gonna give you that floor. But there's a lot of other really good spots on this slate. But overall, Tom Brady's gonna be the top quarterback on the slate. Then we got Drew Brees. Thing about Drew Brees is this guy, he can put up massive points. He hasn't had to. They're doing a lot more running. I mean, if you look at it, in the past 5 games, he's only had to throw over 32 times, with this being 32 in a blowout loss. And only 41 time. A quarterback, we want him to throw for 40 times a game. But he hasn't had to. The running game has really been, killing it for him. So going against Carolina, they're a little bit more stingy against the run. I think Drew Brees is definitely going to have to pass a little bit more. I do like Drew Brees in this spot. I definitely think he's going to get you close to 20, which is going to be pretty much 2.5 times what you need to hit value. So Drew Brees does look really good in Week 13. Then we got Cam Newton. It says thumb injury. He was limited in practice. Blah blah blah. But you know what? I fully expect him to play against the Saints. Thing about Cam Newton is he gives you that floor because he rushes so much. I mean, look at this. In the past 3 games, 2 games, he rushed for 86 and 95. He got a rushing touchdown in 2 of the past 3 games. This alone gives you the crazy floor. Plus, he's throwing. If he gets you 4 touchdowns, he's not going to probably do that against the Saints. But even if he gets you 2 to 3 touchdowns for 250, rushes for 75 yards and a touchdown, he's going to be killing it. I really like Cam Newton in this matchup against the Saints. It's going to be a shootout, and I think he definitely is one of the top plays to consider this week. Then we're going to go with Tyrod Taylor on the lower end. I'm trying to get you some value as well. Tyrod Taylor, this guy, I mean, he doesn't do anything special. He does run. He gives you that extra floor by running. He has 3 rushing touchdowns in the past 5 games, which always helps. His price tag is only 7.3, so you only need about 18 for him to hit value. His fantasy points production this year has been almost 16 fantasy points a game. I think he's going to be down against the Patriots. He's going to have to throw. So it's going to give them a better chance to, get them passing yards up, plus, get in the end zone 1 or 2 times passing wise. Plus, if he could run one, that would be awesome. So I do like Tyrod Taylor. I think he is more of a GPP play, but he's a solid play to consider this week. He definitely has upside for you. He just doesn't have the most solid floor. The last guy I'm going to talk about is Brett Hundley going against Tampa Bay. They have the 30th ranked pass defense. Um, this guy Brett Hundley, he showed us last week what he could do. He threw 3 touchdowns against a pretty good Pittsburgh team. I don't expect him to do that this week. I'm going to make that perfectly clear. I don't expect him to get 22 again, but if he can get me 15 to 16 at his price, I would be very, very happy. And I feel like he's starting to kind of get it together, and things are starting to click for the Packers offense with him a little bit. He has a really, really good rapport with Adams. Devontae Adams, a wide receiver. He's looking for him a lot. So I like Hundley. For 6.4, he's cheap. And, if you can get 15 from him, it's going to let you pay up everywhere else. In Tampa Bay, they have a horrible pass defense, and the defense overall just isn't very good. So I like Hundley. I think he's a really, really good play this week at quarterback on the lower end. Then we'll start at running back. Todd Gurley, obviously. Well, on this slate, it's not showing me. If you want here, let me go back really quick, because there's a couple guys I do like on the Thursday slate if you're playing tomorrow. Let me just go back real quick. We'll go to the Thursday slate. So we're on running backs, okay? There was no running backs there was no quarterbacks that I cared for on the Thursday through Monday. But running back wise, I like Le'Veon Bell. If you're playing tomorrow, this guy, I think he's one of the top options on the slate. He's one of the top options every single week. He's just doing so much with this offense. He's a top running back in the NFL. This guy, he gives you a really, really high ceiling for cash games, something that you really got to like. So, Le'Veon Bell, he's a really good play on this slate. Next, we'll talk about Todd Gurley. The guy's just getting massive usage. And last time that he played against the Cardinals, he went off for 22 carries, 100. Here, let me find it for you real quick. Right here, 22 carries, 106 yards, a touchdown, 8 targets, 4 catches for 40 yards, 23 fantasy points. If he's going to get me 20 fantasy points, I'll be happy this week. I think Todd Gurley is a really, really good play against the Cardinals. Then we're going to move it on down, and we're going to talk about Gordon going against the Browns. The Browns are just horrible. They're probably not going to win a game this year. This guy, he's getting his almost 20 carries a game. It just depends on what he's going to do with them. He's been getting in the end zone somewhat this year. He's also getting targets out the backfield. Gordon going against the Browns this week. I really like him. I think he's more of a GPP play, but I think he is somebody that you really got to consider. Then we're going to go to the little bit cheaper end. Get you some guys on the value. We're going to start with Drake going against Denver. Denver's defense just isn't the same right now. I understand that, there's third-ranked defense overall. I think this guy's strictly a GPP play, okay? Don't get me wrong, okay? Strictly a GPP play. But Damian Williams, our starting running back, is going to be out, so he's going to get a lot more workload. It's just what's he going to do with it? That's the main thing. But at 5.8, value-wise, you need about 13. And he's got 10, 16, 13. He had a dud right here. And these are when he was splitting carries. So now that he's going to be the main back, I think he's going to give you a solid floor. It's not going to be nothing crazy. I would say probably 10 is going to be his floor. But it will take that at his price tag. And we'll move on, pay up elsewhere. And the last guy we're going to talk about is Jamal Williams for the Green Bay Packers. There's the last 3 games he's got 20, 18, and 21. He's kind of taking he's taking the backfield role. He's a really good price tag. I think that this week he's going to be kind of chalky, but I think for a good reason. I think he's a really good cash game play this week. Not only is he getting 21 carries, but he's also getting 5-6 targets out the backfield. He's catching touchdowns. He's rushing for touchdowns. I don't expect this 27.5 this week, but I do expect him to probably get about 14, which would be great on value. I would definitely take that. So I think this guy is pretty much a cash game lock this week. And he also got 45 or 55 snaps last week as well. So that really impressed me. Now we'll go to wide receiver. Obviously, the top wide receiver is going to be. What's going on? Hold on. It's not showing him. But Antonio Brown. Plain and simple. He's a top wide receiver. I don't know why it's not showing him on this slate. Yeah, there he is right there. Antonio Brown. Hey, last two games, 36 and 37. You can't expect that, but he does give you a solid ceiling. I mean, a solid floor. I would say his floor is probably about 18 to 20. I really like him this week. He's. I mean, it's Antonio Brown. He's on Monday night, so if you're playing the Thursday slate, it's really the only opportunity you're gonna have to play him. But hey, Antonio Brown. Hey, if you're gonna play this slate, you always gotta consider him no matter what. Next guy we will talk about is. I don't know why they're not showing him, but hey, we're gonna work through it, okay? I like Julio this week. Julio, last week he went off. I think people are gonna look at him because they want to chase the game. Don't chase the game, okay? That's one thing. Don't chase last game, where he absolutely went off. He's questionable, but I expect him to play. 15 targets. He got 12 for 253 yards, 2 touchdowns. Look, this is not going to happen again. I'm warning you. It's not going to happen again. But you could expect him to get something in the 20 range. That's something that I do like. I like Julio. Thing is the Vikings are a really, really tough defense. So I think Julio is definitely more of a GPP play. But, hey, he can go off like he did last week, any week. But I don't expect it to be this week. Next, we will talk about. I don't know what happened with my thing, but I'm going to go with Cooper Kupp. I mean, the young guy, he's doing his thing, plain and simple. Last week, everybody said, hey, he's going to get more targets. He's going to get more targets. I said, hey, I like it. I jumped on the train last week, and he went off for me. 11 targets, 8 catches for 160 yards. He got 15 fantasy points. Thing about it is if he would have gotten the end zone, it would have been a monster day for him. I think he's a very fair price at 6.3. His team's implied to have the third highest total on the slate, so they're expected to put up points. Vegas thinks they are, so I think they are. I do like Cook a lot. I think Kupp a lot. I think he's a good play. I was getting ahead of myself. Sorry. My next guy is gonna be Cooks. I just talked about him by accident. 7,600. This guy's just, Brady's looking for him. He's getting those downfield big plays. He's got touchdowns in 3 of the past 5 games. He's got at least 5 catches in those games as well. This guy's good. Plain simple, he's good. Brady's looking for him. The past 2 games, he's at 18.4 and 24, going against the Buffalo's defense, who hasn't been the best in the highest implied total on the highest implied total team. Hey, you gotta like Brandon Cooks. And the last guy I'm gonna quickly mention real quick. Well, actually, I got 2 more guys. Sorry, that I'm gonna mention. First, it's gonna be where's he at? Devontae Adams. This guy is Hundley's new favorite target. Ever since Hundley's been in, the targets they have been massive for him. 11, 10, 5, 10, 8, 8, 10, 8. So he's had 8 in every game except for 1. He's getting in the end zone a lot. Even when he's not, he's putting up massive points. He's giving you a high floor right now. 13.9, 2.2 bad game, 9 pretty much decent game, 17.5, 16.6, even without a touchdown, 16.6. He's Hundley's favorite target. I really like him this week. He's a very fair price tag going against the second to worst pass defense in the league. I think he could be a solid cash game option even with Hundley at quarterback. I think you compare Adams and Hundley in your cash games, pay up elsewhere, and be solid, because I think both of these guys, they give you the floor for their price tag. So, yeah, I do like Adams. And the last guy I'm going to talk about at wide receiver is going to be, where you at? Hiding from me. Keenan Allen, 8,100. He's just a solid cash game player. Look at this. Phillip Rivers is looking for him. This gives me even more confidence in Cooks. You know, the last guy I talked about 2 guys ago. He just burned Buffalo for 12 targets, 159 yards, and 2 touchdowns. That gives me more of a reason for Cooks. But at the same time, Phillip Rivers is looking for him a lot. Last game against my Cowboys, 11 targets, 172 yards, and a touchdown. This is Phillip Rivers' guy. If he's going to be putting up numbers like this at 8,100, I mean, you got to pay up for him. He's going to give you a solid floor for cash games. You need about 19 for him to value. 19 is a big number, but even if he doesn't get you 19, he's going to get very close because he's a really, really good wide receiver. So I like Keenan Allen this week. Next, we'll go to tight end. First, we'll start with Gronk. I mean, this guy is pretty much the top tight end any week. You know, he's pretty much one of the only tight ends that hit 20 points multiple times. I mean, he has that upside, 2 touchdown upside. He's shown it over the years. Patriots have the highest implied total. I mean, you're pretty much getting a wide receiver one when you're paying up for Gronk. That's why his price tag is pretty much way above and beyond anybody else's. So, yeah, you know, Gronk does look really, really good this week. Next, we will talk about where's he at? Where are they at? Where are they at? The Raiders. Jared Cook going against the Giants. I mean, they're benching everybody. They bench Eli Manning, their fucking franchise quarterback. Are you shitting me right now? So, Jared Cook, you know, for the Raiders. The Raiders, I mean, they have a good pass game. They haven't been showing it lately, but they're good. Giants, they're worst in the league against tight ends, okay? 5,500 against a team that's worst in the league, that's benching all their players. This is an excellent spot for Jared Cook, okay? The past 2 games, he hasn't done the best, but he's still getting his targets. But before that, 16.6, 13, 8, 12. He has a little bit of upside. But it may not be the crazy upside, but I think he's a solid cash game play. I think he's going to get you close to 10 going against the Giants with the possibility of getting in the end zone. Next, we will talk about Delaney Walker, 6'4". Last week, Rashard Matthews was out. And, he had a good week. I mean, it wasn't nothing crazy, but, I mean, he's showing us 10 targets, 5, 9, 9, 5. But he's doing a lot with his targets. The past 4 games, he's got you a floor of 9.6, 9.3, 12, and 14. I think that's pretty much where he's at. For value, you need about 15. I mean, it's going to be kind of tough for him to get to 15, but I think he's going to get you close, and I like him. He's in a great spot if you want to pay up a little bit for a little bit of safety at tight end. Next, we'll go back to Hunter Henry. 5.4 going against Cleveland. Cleveland, they just suck. Plain simple. I mean, you can't expect him to get in the end zone. He has gotten in the end zone multiple times this year. But, last week, 5 targets, 76 yards, and a touchdown. Even if you take out the touchdown, he still got you 10, which is a solid floor. I think against Cleveland, his floor is probably about 8 to 9. For 5.4, I mean, you won't be over excited about it, but I think that you could deal with it. This way you can get out your on the cheap end with tight end, and you can move on and pay elsewhere, for the top plays. And the last guy I'm going to quickly talk about at tight end is going to be Jimmy Graham. He's questionable with his ankle. He didn't practice on Wednesdays, so it makes it a little somewhat scary. But, I mean, he's been picking it up the past 3 games. I mean, even, when we'll go back in general, he's been doing pretty good this season. I mean, he got you 10, 8, 13, 13, 18, 8, 18, 17, 11. Hey, these are very, very respectable numbers. And I'm starting to feel like Jimmy Graham is back a little bit to his old form. When he used to be with the Saints, people, really were writing him off once he went to the Seahawks. But he's really been picking it up. And if he's going to play this week, which I expect him to against Philadelphia, which should be a pretty high-scoring game, I like him. And I think he's in a great spot in this matchup. And I would definitely look at him. Hey, so that's kind of where I'm at for my NFL picks. Sorry, it was kind of boring, but kind of messed up on me format wise. But hey, I'll be back. I'm gonna do my NBA picks in a little bit. So if you haven't already, please make sure and click the subscribe button. Make sure and click the like button below. Help me out, and I appreciate it. I'll talk to you later.